South Africa is a beautiful country. As every South African surely knows, we have some of the most amazing views and some of the most fantastic weather. Sadly, it's not all sunshine and laughter, because South Africa is also known as one of the top countries when it comes to unacceptable crime levels. While murder, rape, robberies and strike actions receive the most attention from the media, there is another form of crime that is easily overlooked: hijackings. According to the crime statistics for 2009-2010, there were 14,000 hijackings in South Africa during that year. Of this, there were more than 1,400 involving trucks. I'm Stan Mercedes from IBF Investigations, and I will now show you what you can do to prevent getting hijacked. In this CCTV footage of an actual hijacking event, you will see robbers attacking the driver of the vehicle. In this case, they left him for dead after shooting him and made off with his vehicle. But not all hijackings involve light motor vehicles at homes or at intersections. Companies like Evocatus Security Services specializes in the tracking and recovery of stolen or hijacked vehicles. They attend to more than 100 calls per month. These guys do not just stand around and do nothing all day. Whenever they receive a call, they respond immediately to the area. They will rush to the scene of the hijacking and start tracking and recovery processes almost immediately. We work very closely with Evocatus Security Services, and I understand the processes they follow, the protocols they apply, and the methods they use to track and recover hijacked vehicles. When a vehicle is stolen or hijacked, it's then our job to deploy to the area immediately and to start processes towards tracking and recovering that vehicle. Sometimes the recovery can be dangerous and confrontational, and we expect as much as even armed resistance when recovering a hijacked vehicle. By applying our skills, experience and training, we are often forced to recover vehicles with extreme prejudice. At other times, criminals might escape with stolen or hijacked vehicles, in which case we also have to pursue them and eventually hunt them down and arrest them. Through their efforts, Evocatus has had a 100% recovery rate, using any and all methods and technologies they can use, including special tracking equipment and even helicopters. While criminals will do everything in their power to prepare for and plan a hijacking, we hope that this training video will enable you to detect the efforts, to prevent yourself from getting hijacked, and to act before it's too late. Truck drivers are typically more concerned about things like falling asleep or being involved in accidents. But hijackings present a very real risk you have to be aware of. As you are driving your vehicle, you will have to start becoming much more aware of your environment. You must be aware that your vehicle is at risk whenever you are moving slowly, and sometimes even while traveling at highway speeds. Something as innocent as a vehicle seemingly broken down on the side of the road might be part of a plot to get you to slow down and stop, only to hijack you. Do not consider any broken down vehicle to be only just that. You may be heading for a hijacking scenario that you might not even be aware of. You might come across criminals dressed in law enforcement uniforms, and you might think that you're exposed only to a normal stop, but in a remote area, you might then be hijacked by surprise. As you drive down the highway, you might come across objects strewn across the road, and it might cause you to slow down. This might also be an effort to prepare to hijack your vehicle, so be aware. Even if you are slowing down to stop or turn, you are exposed. Criminals might use this opportunity to gain access to your vehicle, only to interfere with your brake system later to cause your vehicle to break down on the side of the road at a location that suits them best. You might then be forced to stop your vehicle and to get out and see what's going on. This is exactly what the criminals would be waiting for. While driving on the highway, you could come across criminals that are so brazen that they will drive right up to your vehicle and point a firearm directly at you, forcing you to surrender and stop your vehicle. Every unscheduled event must be seen as a hijacking about to unfold. It is therefore essential that you use the equipment at your disposal. Your panic button and your cell phone should be the two things you think about first at all times. If you are ever flagged down, slowed down, or stopped for any unscheduled reason, including law enforcement officers flagging you down, obstructions in the road, people asking for assistance, or even a direct attack on your vehicle, you must immediately press the panic button. Controllers should never view a panic button as anything other than the most important event that they could experience. Every panic alarm must be seen as a real situation involving an injury, a hijacking, or potentially the death of a driver. Panic alarms must take priority over all other tasks and be attended to and eliminated or acted to immediately and without delay. If you have pressed your panic button and the controller calls you back, you must stay on the line at all costs. If need be, you should answer your phone and put your cell phone in your jacket or shirt pocket, but leave it connected so that your controller can hear everything that is happening while it is unfolding. What looks like a routine stop or a person in distress can almost immediately turn into a hijacking. In this case, your controller will be able to hear the attack on your person while he is on the phone. You can never hang up that phone. You must remember that you cannot press your panic button after you've been hijacked or once somebody has already gained access to your vehicle. Therefore, acting early is your only line of defense. You have to act before things happen so that somebody can hear what is happening. If you are going to make any unscheduled stops or stop at any locations that are not approved, you must inform your controller of your intention to do so before the time and tell the controller what you are going to do there as well as how long you will be. This way, if there's any change in your pattern, your controller will immediately detect this and consider the possibility that you might be the victim of a hijacking. You must never pick up passengers, never allow any unknown persons into your vehicle, and always keep your passenger door locked. The passenger door is the place where most hijackers gain access to your vehicle. This enables them to take control of you by surprise, to watch your actions, to prevent you from making or accepting telephone calls, and also to prevent you from using your panic button. These things are your lifelines, and you must do everything you can before the situation changes and before you are no longer in control. With this in mind, you should also be reminded never to resist an attack. Everything you do must be done before the confrontation. If you attempt to do anything during the confrontation, this could lead to your injury or even your death. This is why you must always act proactively and use your panic button before an event unfolds so that your controller can be aware if you are caught by surprise. If you have already been hijacked, your task should be that of information gathering. You must use all your resources to try to gather as much information about the attackers in the situation as possible. This will become your task if you are hijacked. Remember that what you see is not typically all that you need to remember. The attackers will typically force you to look away, to look down, or trap you in the back of your vehicle and even sit on top of you. Remember that it's not only your eyes that you can use to gather information. Try to listen to the language spoken, the number of different voices you hear, the way in which cell phones ring. Even a ringtone can become evidence. Listen for the tone between your attackers. See if you can determine if a particular attacker is in charge. While the attackers are on a phone conversation, if this is the case, listen to the words they use, the way in which they speak, and whether it sounds like the person on the phone is in charge or not. Also try to determine how long you travel for. Sometimes you can travel slowly over a short distance but take long to get there, and at other times your attackers might drive as fast as they possibly can. Listen for things like bridges or uneven roads or gravel roads, and try to remember how many turns or stops you've done. Even the smell of the attacker can give us clues to what kind of attacker we are dealing with. If you can smell your attacker, try to remember what this smell reminds you of so that you can explain it in detail later. Even when your head is held down or you're told not to look at your attacker, try to see the height of the attacker's waist against your own so that you can estimate the height at a later stage. By committing yourself to remembering as much as you possibly can about your attackers, the situation, the environment, and the actions taken, you will enable us to track down criminals or hijackers even if we do not recover the vehicle. We will eventually unravel all the evidence you've collected, compare it to other hijackings, look for common trends, and we will decide what to do with that information. And you might be the only person with the information we need to execute our arrest. If you do what you can, listen to what you can hear, look for what you can see, smell what you can, and remember as much as you can, you will hand this information over to us, and we will do what it takes to recover, track down, or arrest your hijackers.